What's going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. Today I wanted to check out the Darth Maul Platinum exclusive by PCS. They recently got the 1/3 Star Wars line. They have this up for PO at $17.55. Which is, it comes with a separate entire upper torso. And if you buy the normal collector's edition, it's $17.05 from Sideshow, $15 from PCS, like in the early bird exclusive. And you basically only get these two options, where with PCS you actually get a swap out, so this is like the EX version, but you get this when you order from PCS. So seems like ordering from PCS is the best option, so I am a big fan of this piece. I think it looks great. It's, the base is only 16 inches wide, 14 inches deep, 34 inches tall with this pose, which is easier to display. I guess depending on your height. And this one's like 24 inches wide, pretty wide when you take that into account. I am a fan of this, though. I think it looks great. I like both pose options. I don't ever remember seeing Darth Maul in this, like shirtless. Maybe it happened in like, Clone Wars or, something, but it does look really cool. It shows off a lot of detail of his tattoos, and I think it looks great. I do prefer that head sculpt versus the other head sculpt, and I like both poses quite a bit. So, yeah, they have a light up feature both in the base and in the lightsaber. Lightsabers look great as well without it. The base, without the light up, I would need to see it, but I would assume in person it's probably pretty dark inside of that. Fully sculpted, no mixed media. Like, this is a very classic Maul pose. Like, it looks great. Lightsaber in front, calm face, backhand, almost like using the Force. I like the way they sculpted his undergarments, how it's like flowing, like there's wind, kind of give that Force feel. So very cool. Yeah, and look at that portrait. That is killer. Now, this is a prototype. PCS generally has a pretty significant downgrade when it comes to production. So I definitely would not expect those eyes and teeth to look like that in your production unit. Nevertheless, they do better on, like more creature-ish type things than humans. So I still think they'll do a great job on this. Yeah, sculpt looks excellent. Nice skin texture. Like the wrapping around the hands. It looks really well done. Then here's the base. So you basically got the first scene when they met Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. And then when he killed Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan's waiting behind those energy shields. And then the battle of him versus, Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul, kicked him in the face, which is pretty cool. So basically, yeah, those are all the scenes. Oh, and then just when they're both fighting him. So kind of resemble, the whole fight, which is really cool. Overall, I think it looks awesome. The price is okay. It's like, it's a little pricey. You have to pre-order during this pre-order period to get this. Otherwise, it's like $1,900. And the deposit's $175. He's only 25 inches tall to the top of his head, so it's not like super tall. Yeah, $19.50 is the MSRP. And it says it's supposed to ship towards the end of the year, Q1 next year. So I'm a fan. I think it looks great. It's a little pricey, but what statue isn't nowadays? There's no edition size. I think they're just going to set the edition size after this early bird pre-order window and then probably set it slightly higher. Because, of course, they want to sell more directs. When they go through Sideshow, they're probably losing 20 or 30% because they're, they want to sell direct. They earn a lot more money direct versus going through like Sideshow. But I gotta admit, I'm a little tempted. I like this. And, I sold my old Star Wars mostly because it was 1/4 scale and I wanted to get out of 1/4. In general, I'd love to transition my entire collection to 1/3 if it was humanly possible. However, the 1/4 I truly do love is the Prime ones, like the Lord of the Rings, the video games. Like, those to me are just some of the coolest statues ever made. Because the concept is just undeniably the best, and they have the most epic bases. This base is very simplistic. It is cool for what it is, but here's the thing: with the 1/3, your focus is more so the character versus like a base. The bases are generally much more generic. Where you got like these epic 1/4 scale bases and then a very plain 1/3 base. Although some are getting, more, like this base is epic. So this is my only Star Wars setup right now. I got, 3 lightsabers and a poster. Now, if I ever did want to actually, expand upon Star Wars, I'm sure PCS is going to make a Vader. That's going to be a no-brainer. Probably a Kylo Ren. People love villains. I would never collect a good guy from Star Wars. I would never consider that. It'd only be villains. If I ever was to consider it, it'd have to go here. Boom, boom, boom. At a minimum, Maul and Vader. And probably I couldn't fit that Maul lightsaber over there. It's way too effing long. But that's the only place I ever could consider a Star Wars line. I don't plan to pre-order it, and I'm sure it'll be available. People are always selling Star Wars. So let's say they make a killer Vader and maybe a Kylo Ren. I decide, I want all 3. I just pick it up down the road. I'm not pre-ordering shiz. Especially nowadays, it's the only statues I'm going to pre-order. Let me think. Are there any? PCS Celine. I will pre-order that. That's a day 1 for me. And is there any others? Jupiter. I think that's kind of it. Like, I don't really plan to pre-order anything else. I guess if we got a Hawkeye 1/4, I'd pre-order it. Anyways, folks, let me know what you think of this Darth Maul 1/3 scale statue. It is pretty pricey. I mean, when you consider shipping cost and tax, you're looking at $2,000, which is the same cost as like Vampirella, Red Sonja, which I still consider them significantly better statues. And their older horror statues like Ghostface was like $1,350. He comes with a swap out mask and knife. And I'm a huge fan of that. I think that's one of their better 1/3s. That and the Blade. The Blade is probably one of their best bang figure bucks. I think the Star Wars is more expensive simply due to licensing. I'm sure it did not come cheap. Or like a Blade comic video game license is not that expensive. So clearly it's a licensing and they're trying to make up for it by pricing it more expensive. But it's great to see we're finally getting 1/3s, because outside of this, we've only seen custom Star Wars 1/3s. They're okay. I haven't been impressed, but I am impressed with this Maul. I think PCS did a good job, So, I may consider it sometime in the future if I'm still collecting. Then if I decide, what, I do want a Star Wars line. Just like a simple 2 to 3 villain line, I'd consider it. But it's definitely not something I'm thinking about right now. But let me know what you guys think. Are you guys going to get this? It's definitely much better than any other Maul statue we've seen out there. That's for sure. Significantly better than the Iron Studios and Sideshow Old 2. Anyways, folks, let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.